The Haunting of Mae Nak, a tale of undying love. Warning, to those who doubt, to those who scoff at the unseen, be wary. The spirit of Mae Nak lingers in the shadows, her love for Mak as fierce as the day she died. Those who disrespect her name, who dare to question her devotion, may find themselves face to face with a force beyond comprehension. This is not just a story, it is a warning. In the bustling heart of Bangkok, where modernity meets tradition, there exists a tale whispered among the elders, passed down through generations. The story of Mae Nak, the woman who loved so deeply that even death could not part her from her beloved Mak. It was the early 19th century, in the small village of Phra Khanong. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine, and the night was alive with the hum of crickets. In a modest wooden house by the canal lived Nak, a woman of unparalleled beauty, and her husband, Mak, a young soldier conscripted to fight in a distant war. Their love was pure, a bond that seemed unbreakable, until the day Mak was called to the battlefield. Nak, heavy with child, watched as her husband disappeared into the horizon, her heart aching with every step he took away from her. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Nak remained steadfast, eagerly awaiting the day Mak would return. Her pregnancy progressed, and soon the time came for her to give birth. But fate, cruel and unforgiving, had other plans. On a stormy night, as thunder roared and lightning split the sky, Nak went into labor. Alone and in agony, she fought for her life and the life of her child. But the struggle was too great. Nak and her baby both perished in the small, dimly lit room, their last breaths lost to the howling wind. The village mourned the loss of Nak and her child, but as was the custom, they quickly buried her body and tried to move on. Yet, Nak's love for Mak was too powerful to be contained by the grave. Her spirit refused to leave, bound to the earthly realm by a longing so intense it defied death itself. When Mak returned from the war, weary but alive, he found Nak waiting for him, their child in her arms. Overjoyed, he embraced them, unaware of the coldness that now clung to her once warm skin. To Mak, nothing seemed amiss, his wife and child were alive, and that was all that mattered. The villagers, however, knew the truth. They watched in terror as Mak lived with a ghost, oblivious to the deathly pallor of his beloved Nak. The village elders, fearful of what Nak's spirit might do, tried to warn Mak. They whispered of her death, of the funeral they had all attended, but Mak would not listen. His love for Nak blinded him to the truth. It wasn't until one fateful day that the illusion shattered. Nak was preparing a meal when a lime slipped from her hand and rolled under the house. Without hesitation, she extended her arm to retrieve it, but her arm stretched far beyond human capability, snaking under the house in an unnatural, bone-chilling way. Mak froze, horror gripping his heart as the truth he had denied for so long crashed down upon him. His wife, his beloved Nak, was a ghost. Panicked, Mak fled to the temple, the only place he knew Nak's spirit could not follow. There, he sought refuge, while Nak's mournful wails echoed through the village, her once gentle voice now filled with sorrow and rage. Enraged at Mak's abandonment, Nak's spirit turned malevolent, haunting the villagers who had dared to separate her from her husband. Her wrath was swift and brutal, those who crossed her path were found lifeless, their faces twisted in terror. The village knew they could not withstand Nak's fury. Desperate, they called upon a powerful monk, a man known for his ability to commune with the spirits. The monk, armed with sacred relics and chants, confronted Nak's spirit, engaging in a battle of wills that shook the very foundations of the village. Finally, he managed to trap Nak's spirit in a small clay pot, sealed with powerful incantations. The pot was thrown into the deep waters of the Chao Phraya River, sinking into the dark depths where Nak's spirit would be confined for eternity. Or so they thought. Years passed, and the tale of Mae Nak became a ghost story, told to frighten children and amuse tourists. But those who live in Phra Khanong know better. They speak of the nights when the wind howls and the air grows cold, when the scent of jasmine fills the air, and the faint cries of a woman can be heard near the canal. Some say that if you're not careful, if you're disrespectful to the spirits or doubt the power of love that transcends death, you might just catch a glimpse of Nak. She'll appear in the corner of your eye, her once beautiful face now twisted with grief, her arms outstretched, still searching for her lost love. To this day, the shrine of Mae Nak stands in Phra Khanong, a reminder of her undying love and the wrath she unleashed on those who dared to come between her and Mac. Visitors leave offerings, praying for her peace, but also for their own protection. For those who do not believe, who dismiss the story as mere folklore, the warning is clear: do not speak ill of Mae Nak, for she is always watching, waiting for the moment when disbelief becomes regret.